seen, heard, and understood, whether it was family, friends, or even acquaintances. Brittanee had a way of making you feel like you mattered. That was her gift to the world. And it was one of the many reasons this loss feels so devastating. We're not here to mourn the passing of Brittanee, no we're not, but we're here to celebrate the joy she brought into our lives. She was a talented dancer. Her favorite dance was actually bachata. I said it was tango, but it was bachata. The girl loved to dance. We would go out, I remember, to the bars, and she really, really danced. She really did. She really did. She was a talented dancer, and many of us were lucky enough to see her perform. She had dreams of becoming a dance instructor, using her passion to help others through trauma. Brittanee has such a bright future ahead of her, and the world is a little dimmer without her presence. But as we gather here today, let us remember her for the love and light she shared with us all. Her spirit lives on in the memories we hold and the stories we share. Thank you all for being here to honor her today. The first person I would like to invite is Brandy. Brandy is her mom, so let's all go. Welcome her with love and warmth. Thank you, Brandy.
I'm Brandy. Brittanee was my firstborn daughter. She has 4 other sisters and 6 brothers. She has 4 nieces and 4 nephews. I wish she was still here. I love her. She was the shining star that I think a lot of us here, and she brightened everybody. She was just the most loving person. I just hope you all have a lot of happy memories of her. I know I do. I can remember when she was in the Nutcracker, dancing with the Russian ballet. And she did that for several years, actually, because I came to Reading. And when she eventually was 13, she was actually asked to study with them in Moscow. And I'm just glad you guys are all here today. I loved her, and I love you guys all for being here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brandy. The next person we want to invite is her stepdad, Robert.
Thank you all for being here. Don't know where really to begin. Always with love. Brittanee entered my life when she was very young. I remember walking her into kindergarten. She was a little scared, and which is normal for kids, but she took it all, on in stride. And Brittanee was presented with many difficulties in her life. Multiple heart surgeries. She had at least 3 closed heart surgeries, a couple open heart surgeries, and got through all of that stuff. Persevered and strengthened herself to be able to take on this world. I had many more words to say right now, so I'm just going to let it fly. Loved my daughter. She loved her brothers and sisters. She loved her whole family. She loved her aunts and uncles. She loved all of her extended family. her friends. She told me she had such a strong support base up here that she was doing well. She had just gotten to a point now where I think she had just straightened everything out. It was going really good for her. And then life happens, you know. Every life that Brittanee touched, she uplifted. Every life that Brittanee touched, she made better. Everywhere Brittanee went, the rooms were brighter. People's hearts were fuller. She went out of her way to help people for her entire life, even when she was been presented with so many things in her life that she had to overcome. As a dad, you know, I wished I could have, for all of our children, always wished to be there to protect them from everything. And wish I could have been there for her this time, but I know that she would want you to remember her in a, like Ann said, in a positive, uplifting, loving way. I'm sorry, I don't have many more words other than to say I love my daughter, and we all love her. And I know you guys all love her, and thankful that you're here, just spending time and celebrating her and remembering her. And I know that she's here with us right now. She was also presenting, I need to mention that she was also presenting, you know, another difficulty. We all were. Less than 6 months ago, we lost another son. And she had come down. We haven't even been able to process that, really, truthfully. And then this happened. So, you know, I know she wouldn't want us to fold or fail. I know that she wouldn't want us to give up. I know that she wants us to go forward. And I know that she wants us to be strong the way that, you know, we raised her. So, and again, always with love. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. We're going to have Brandon come up and say something, if you're okay. Okay.
We preface, Brittanee was my older sister. We just came from her viewing, so pardon me if my voice is a little shaky. It's been a really difficult day. And if I cry while I'm up here, I apologize. You know, my sister was a really amazing person. And she touched the lives of so many different people, myself included. And, you know, there's a saying, you know, dance like no one's looking. And she was the kind of person that would do it even when they were looking. You know, growing up, she was always so cool. I looked up to her constantly. I wanted to be someone like her. I still do. Sorry. It's really unfortunate that she's passed, and I know that she touched a lot of the lives of the people in here. And she made the world a better place by being in it, and it's a little more empty now that she's gone. I just want us to remember her for the person that she was. I love you, Britt. That's all I have. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Brandon. We have Casey. Okay.
fight. And apparently I got the tallest gene out of them all. So. The moment I heard the news that Brittanee had, I had such an empty and vacuous spot in my soul, heart, and in my body. And it really affected my beliefs. And stood where I stood with God in the house of faith. Even now, it's with a heavy heart and a heavy hand that I'm introduced to you, all of you guys, this way. She really spoke when she came back up in May about how much she wanted to show her whole family, everyone, you know. She wanted to show her a support system. She really had found a true belief that uplifted her and held her into the person that she viewed herself as. You know, I've taken a lot to go through when she's written, and I'm happy to say that I am here for not just my family, but for all of you guys too, you know. I always felt that with Brandon, Ben, now Mariah, and Dustin, that they were the older siblings I looked up to. Every time. Every time there was an argumentative affair or an instigation of a fight that proved provocal or was extended into a situation that might turn violent, it didn't. Brittanee stood up between and was the intermediate voice in the family. She's one of the reasons I pursued higher education, honestly. Without her, it affects not only the family, but I know it affects all of you too. Even though just speaking to all of you, it's hard to think about her. She did achieve her dream. You know, she spoke about having a little single apartment just over by the coast. Just a dog. 5 dogs, but she loved her dogs. She loved her cats. Most of her dogs. I remember growing up, we had a family dog named Chet. And 187 pounds. I never felt afraid because Brittanee was the one who showed me how to handle dogs, how to be nice to people. I had such anger growing up all around me, and one of the few gentle souls, besides all of my family members, of course, but really who talked to me was Britt. You know, she would bug me. She bugged the crap out of me, man. She'd send me texts, show me what she was doing, you know. I connected with her. She wanted to show me a clip of Petey, which is the last thing she showed me. That's a comedian. And one of the few bonding moments that I had with my sister, besides actually meeting her again, you know, seeing how she was. She was healthy. Good weight on her, you know. I'm so happy you're all here, you know. Ann and Dad briefly spoke on the light that she had, but it illuminated everything. As soon as she would walk into a house or room, you could feel the difference she brought. And it is with a heavy voice that I just wish I could have seen her sooner. Thank you all for letting me speak.
Thank you. Luke, if you'd like to come up to say a few words.
Hi, I'm Luke. I'm Brittanee's cousin. we were very close. I think that one of the reasons she moved up here was to be up here closer to me. Just devastating. She was such a light to everyone around her, as you all know. She never did anything just half-assed. She just did it, you know. It was never. It wasn't. We do it a little bit. It was like it was just going there and just going. She, you know, she really, like everyone else has said, she lit up her room when she walked in, and she, you know, she lit up something in every single one of you. And thank you all for being here.
I'm going to invite her aunt and uncle, Tom and Ursula. Thank you.
Guess we're a package deal.
This is all surreal. We've been struggling with coming to terms with the whole thing. But what I really wanted to start off was by thanking all of you. I'm just blown away that there's so many good people in this room who put this together at moment's notice so the family can be here. And I just, Luke, you're amazing. I appreciate everything you've done. Her AA family, thank you. We've had a very special relationship with Brittanee over the years. We consider her part of our family.
She was like a sister to our son. The pictures that you've been seeing, a lot of them have been of us on various different adventures, a lot of them running. If you're going to be a part of our family, you're going to be a runner, apparently. We had a lot of really good times and a lot of challenges too. You know, we had to navigate those challenges.
She was going through challenges, and we had good conversations with her, and she really seemed to be perking up and being positive.
And owning her place in life. You know, Brittanee, along with being that light that everybody saw, she was also a person that always invited people to take care of her, because she had that kind of, you want to take care of her, you want to hold her and protect her and help her with everything. And it was such a part of her natural personality that I was always so concerned that it impeded her ability to learn to take care of herself and to establish her own boundaries and to know what she really wanted, instead of always trying to please other people and being what they wanted of her. And we saw her coming up here and having all of you be a part of her extended family. We saw growth in her and saw her being able to find out what her voice was and what her boundaries were and what she really wanted, and pursue that for herself. And you know, for me, I've been going through a lot of anger coming up here and feeling like, you know, how she was taken in such a violent, horrible way, and how I'm absolutely not okay with it. I'm really mad. I'm really, really mad. And I'm also struggling to wrap my head around the fact that this isn't just a bad dream, that I'm not just going to wake up and it's going to be different. But I have to hold on to the knowledge that she was living the life that she wanted. She had found her voice and found her family here. And I don't want to live a life without Brittanee in it. I really don't. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to accept. And I still feel like I'm being ridiculous even saying that. Like, you know, the denial.
Brittanee had, as you're aware and heard earlier, she had a heart defect pretty much at birth and had surgery soon thereafter. And yet, she had perhaps the biggest heart I've ever known. She was the sweetest soul, and we've had so many good times with her. We clowned around constantly. She was the flower girl at our wedding, and she was the most adorable flower girl anybody could ever ask
Everybody
for.
went, oh. Because I mean, she was, if you can imagine 4-year-old Brittanee skipping down with flowers, flitting flowers everywhere.
And she never changed.
She was always that flower girl, always.
And we are so thankful for all of our adventures with her, visiting her in Puerto Vallarta, or running adventures. I was honored to run the first half marathon with her that she ran.
You took her to New Orleans with us.
New Orleans, and her and our son, oh my gosh, they were two peas in the pod.
I wish you
And
could be
just
here.
two knuckleheads going at it. So, anyways, thank you guys all for being here. We are devastated. We love Brittanee. We're gonna miss her for the rest of our lives. And we'll just have to keep her in our thoughts, the happy times we had with her. And and I do have to say another thing. I'm so friggin' proud of Brittanee. When she came, she had some struggles. She's in Puerto Vallarta, and she came to live with us. And we realized what the root cause problem is. I've been sober for 7 years and in AA, and I took her to her first meeting. And she freaking ran with it. I mean, she gusto. So much for us too. She was involved at the Washington Youth Program for Alcoholics Anonymous and doing their conference. She touched so many people in AA, and then she returned the favor after COVID. I stayed sober but stopped going to meetings. And last February she came to visit, and she brought me back to meetings. I met her sponsor, and that's the type of person she was. She would give back, and she would take advice, and she would work on herself and for other people. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your unconditional love, and thank you to Bree, who's here today, who took her out of the road. We really appreciate that. A lot of good people here. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. The next person I have here is sponsor number 1, Christy.
Hi, I'm Christy. I felt like I should wear something cute for Brittanee, but also black boots, and like I wore my leather jacket, but it's warm in here. But she's a look queen. Like, she has great looks. She could pull off so many looks. And my dad always shamed me for having the same smile in every photo, and Britt does not. Like, so many faces. So I'm super appreciative of just getting a display of all of her looks. So I thought that I was at her first meeting, but it was a women's meeting. So I'm going to say at one of the first women's meetings that she was at, Ashley and I, you know, she spoke as her very first meeting, and then we invited her afterwards for fellowship. And I do believe Mexico brought her to AA, so which happened for more people, but it was Brittanee. So Brittanee, like you said, took it and ran with it. And along her first fellowship, she got her first sponsor and started working the SIPs immediately. It was really sweet because we were unaware of what happened, and I do feel like I took advantage of her friendship. There's a lot more times I could have talked to her, and a lot more times I could have called and asked about her adventures, and she was really good about reaching out, no matter where we were in the world. And so I'm thinking about a lesson that I'm taking from Britt is I'm going to think harder about who I love the most and who's touched, and like really make sure to call that person. Really make sure to dig into that person's life more, because I'm sure I have another 100 people in my life that I could do that with, and I don't want this feeling to continue. So I encourage you, if you're feeling the way I'm feeling of like, gosh, I could have talked to her every day for 5 hours, I'm gonna try and do that. So I had the unfortunate situation where I had to call people on Monday night. Thanks, Tom, for coming to see us at our home group. Tom and I and Britt shared a home group, and Ashley's husband. So I gave her second sponsor. After me, she went on to one of my other sponsees and had her name's Andy. So Andy posted this for me, and Andy posted what I wrote, and so I'm just going to read it to share how I feel. And I feel like Brittany helped me write some of this, and I'm Jewish, so I was doing it near a yahrzeit candle, if anyone knows what a yahrzeit candle is, but it's a way that the soul can be with you during that time. Our hearts are deeply saddened to share our friend Brittanee was killed earlier this month. Britt was a dancing flame of light, and I believe that was her words. So dancing flame of light and positive energy. She was real, period. Fun, authentic, and honest. She was a friend to listen, giggle, and to grow with. Britt had a beautiful smile, and now I'm seeing there's like 15 different types of beautiful smiles that I get to resonate on. She had an compassionate heart, and my favorite part is her best laughing outbursts. I feel like you could never anticipate when a burst of laughter would come out of that little body. And I talked to Aunt Mimi, was that yesterday, Deanna, and she said she's been doing that since she was like 2. She just randomly outbursts out of nowhere, and it kind of catches you off guard, and then it's kind of contagious. And then there's the snort that follows as well. So love the snort. She was a dedicated member of our fellowship. She loved running, and now I get to see, Tom, that like where that comes from too. And dogs, all caps. She vigorously worked programs and didn't shy away from even the hardest inventories. And her and I worked several programs together, and one that was extremely hard, and she was a hero to me. We find peace in her new, loving, and warm place of rest. We are sending prayers to her family and all of her loved ones. And for those of you who are staying here for a little bit longer, her best friend from Chico booked a flight this morning at 8 a.m. and then missed the flight, because that's what besties do sometimes. So we'll be excited to welcome in Jessie, her best friend from Chico. Will be here, and hopefully like within the hour. So please feel free to, and she's the one holding her if you see her at the Santa Claus event that we had. And just, yeah, I share your anger. I share your frustration. I share your love for Bree. I called Bree the other night, and thank you, Tom, for handing me her number. Luke, I would have called you too if I had yours, but we'll talk later. Injustice, too soon, not okay, furious, devastated, lost. And yeah, I think I asked Tom, the first thing I said, "Are you sure?" And then he helped me. So there's a lot more people behind me. There's an entire community of over 300 people from Chico that I get to represent today, that would love to be here, and family members in Reading that weren't able to make it today. So we will be hosting another event down in either Chico or Reading. And another just big love and shout out to my bestie for getting me here. So thank you.
Christy, Linnea, I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, I'm so sorry. You'd like to come up, thank you.
Hi, I'm Linnea. When I met Brittanee, it was during the pandemic, early pandemic. And you know, a lot of us were going through it, and she was going through it, and you know, we were in a meeting and she was crying a lot, and I looked at her and I could see her spark, and I thought, God, I hope she asked me to be her sponsor, because I just had like an instant connection with her, and she did. A couple of meetings later, and you know, the times we spent, you know, we had a special table at Sherry's up in Bremerton. We'd eat Southwest steak salads and dish about our lives and get spiritual together and just spend time, you know, really deep quality time together. That was in Bremerton. And I moved to West Seattle, and when she wanted to move to Tacoma, it was so funny because we drove over from Seattle and show up, and there's a U-Haul, but there's no one else there. Luckily, my partner's built like a truck too, so the two of us moved her down here, and I feel like she was really destined to come to Tacoma, as evidenced by all these beautiful people. You know, she was embraced down here, and you know, met some people that, you know, were the closest to her that I've known, like Anne. We had some incredible weekends together. We went to Allison's house and with our sponsorship line, and we played sober salad bowl and did yoga on the lawn, and it was incredible. You know, Brittanee was unapologetically Brittanee. She was unapologetically hilarious, unapologetically talented, beautiful, you know, unapologetically sober, unapologetically queer, and just incredible, spiritual. Another incredible, you know, time. She would come to see me in West Seattle, and you know, I miss getting mad at her because she was late constantly. I'd be like, Brittanee, where are you? And she would show up, and I would be so happy to see her, you know, because, you know, I love that woman so much. I remember every time I'd be driving for any distance, I would call her, like, Brittanee, get on the phone, and we would just talk and talk and talk, and tell each other everything. She always did, you know, if I gave her homework, she would do that. I almost said she did everything I asked, but then I would show up at her home group and she'd be swearing and late and being just totally herself. And God, I love that honesty, that truth, you know, that light. You know, she was a joy factory. She could suck up so much negativity and dark and bad things and just emit pure sunshine and pure love. And I'd warm my hands on that. You know, more recently, this spring we went to Girls Talk, a women's conference in Bellingham. You know, and just we jump in the car and fly up to the casino and listen to an incredible speaker and cry and hug, and you know, and it was deep. And it was there that night I went to take a shower, and I came out of the shower and came back to my room, and she was just sitting stone cold, and she looked at me and she said, "My brother died." And I was there to hold her and hold space for her and be there for her, and I wanted her family to know that she was not alone. She was with us when that happened, and we held a meeting that night, and she opened up and said beautiful things about him and about her loss, and she was so brave and emotional, but in the best possible way, about losing her brother. And she, man, more recently, I was coming down about once a week and going out with her, and there was a little meeting not far from here we'd go to that was really goofy, but we'd laugh about it, and then I'd take her to pancakes, and we'd fill up on pancakes, and see you next week. And this is devastating for everybody. It's so devastating, and the only thing I can think to do is, we have a lot of spiritual talks, and my sponsor would tell me when I'm struggling, or does tell me when I'm struggling, she's like, "Get a bigger God." And I would tell that to Brittany, and then she would tell me about her higher power in different ways and days, and that would feed mine. And today, the only thing I know how to do is take her higher power, take everything we have together, and combine it with my sense of a higher power and my sense of God, and just expand that to be big enough for all of us. And that's where I'll take her. I'll take her everywhere with me. She's always in my heart, my soul, and she's like a part of me and us and everything. So, thank you.
Thank you, Linnea. We're going to hear from Jax, who is Britt's friend, one of many Britt's friends.
My name is Jax. I met Brittany about a year and a half, 2 years ago, in the program of AA. And I know them as Bert, and that's a name that gave them a lot of joy. They were a wonderful person, infused everything in their life with a sense of optimism and levity. It could spin any terrible thing that had happened to somebody or themselves, and find something good in it. And I really just want to talk about some of the good experiences I had with them. I've been crying all day. We bonded a lot over relationship stuff. I am moody and have problems with that. And so they always lent that opening ear to listen, and had amazing solutions to problems. We talked a lot about our needs to feel safe for emotional expression in that, and countless times that I met up with Bert and chatted and blurted 10, 30 minutes long speeches about a million thoughts that I had, and they would just sit there and listen, and I was like, why are you still here? But we were really big supports for each other, and that was a magical experience, and I'm just so honored to have shared that with them. A more specific situation that we had together, it was last year.
I'm from out of town. I used to live in Kansas, but I moved here 3.5 years ago, and so my family doesn't live out here, and I didn't have anybody to spend Thanksgiving with, and neither did Bert. So we got together that day, and we confided in each other, and we found a good time in a time where we both felt lonely, and we ate about like a whole family's worth of Thai food. It was like you could have fed 6 people with that. And I watched them eat an entire plate of mussels, like the size of both of our heads, all by themselves. And we laughed so hard at that. It was so good. And then we spent the entire afternoon just like watching our favorite TV shows, and being all cozy with our blankets. And it was just a lovely experience to share in a moment of authenticity with a person who genuinely, excuse my language, gave a shit about the other people in their lives. And like, I think that's something that's been hard for a lot of us to get to, is finding that love and genuine give a shit for the other people in our lives, and it just so came so naturally to Britt. We were always going to play a game of Magic the Gathering, and unfortunately we never got to do that over the 2.5 years, or 2 years that we were together as friends. But it's like, I feel like a lot of people would be like, oh, it's just a game, whatever. But that was how we met. We met at a meeting, and we were talking about nerdy things, and then we were like, oh my god, we should play Magic together. And then like we got together to hang out, and then got distracted and never played Magic. And that happened over and over again for 2 years. And that's something I regret, that I didn't get to have that with Bert. God, I lost my place. It's a door that we left closed. And I still have them saved in my phone as Brittanee AA, and then like in quotes Magic to mark that day. That's like a big stamp. That Bert dealt with a lot of hardship, and especially in the days leading up to this accident. I know that they had been doing a lot better, but like we all experience a lot of those issues, even through the good. But like their profound ability to bounce back, and again finding that optimism in every situation, was just uncanny. The positive perspectives were never ending. And to lose a person with such a zeal for life, personal growth, and finding the positive, even when it hurts, is just, I don't know what to do with that sometimes. And I think a lot of that's pretty cliche, but it's like the most true thing I can think of to say here, because Bert was authentically cliche in the best way. And I miss Bert. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there for them in these last few months when they needed it most, seemingly. And I feel like that they were so much of a better friend than I was in a lot of cases. I didn't deserve as much love as they'd be able to give to me. Just a wonderful, creative, positive, loving, insightful, and joyful person to get to share a lot of life with. And it hurts deeply, but we love her. And I wanted to read a poem written by one of my favorite music artists called Beckar, called Yellow, if that's all right. Yellow grass, yellow sand, yellow stars, yellow land, yellow past, yellow man. You got a yellow heart. Yellow sky, bathed in light, eyes so bright, I squint in your presence. The silver linings ever present. It gives me hope sometimes. I need a message sometimes. I need a rope. Yellow lines that go for miles and miles. We do them all, we follow in denial. For our love is vile. Yellow flows like the Nile. Yellow like the bile from our stomachs. They line us whole. Yellow grows and grows till it can't no more. Yellow, you are almost the coolest girl I ever met. But yellow cut ruined it all. Hello, yellow. I'm staring and glaring at you right now, looking for a message or blessing that I've longed for. Wrong door after wrong door. Hello, yellow. Will you stay? At least for a day. Been in the shade for a little while. Thank you.
Thank you, Jax. As we take a moment to reflect on Brittanee's life, one thing that stands out to everyone who knew her is how much she cared for those around her. Brittanee had a unique way of making people feel seen and valued. Whether you're going through tough times or simply needed a friend, she was always there with a smile, a laugh, and the kind of support that felt effortless but meant everything. She never let anyone feel less than. She always lifted others up, even when she was going through her own challenges. Her light was contagious, and she made sure to brighten the lives of everyone around her. Brittanee had dreams of helping others heal, both through her passion for dance and through the kindness she showed to everyone she encountered. Her spirit lives on in the love she shared with us, and it is up to us to carry that forward. Let us honor her by continuing to lift each other up, just as she would have wanted. I have a second speaker, Tamim, if you'd like to join us.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Yeah, it doesn't even seem real. Me and Britt did a lot together. You know, we were gym bros. We go hit the weights together. She had this 15-minute ab routine that would just, destroy me at the end of our workouts. And I'd always tell her, like, tone it down. Like, I need like a 10-minute one, not a 15-minute one, you know? And, and after our gym session, she would love to go to the church cantina to go see Quinn. I don't know if Quinn's here or not, but, and I always wanted to mix it up, you know? It's like, we can't get Cuban fusion all the time, you know? But, she loved that place. We were both dancers, you know? She was a ballroom dancer, and I'm a powwow dancer. And, every chance she got, she would come see me. We do ceremonies together. She would come to the powwows. And, they have these intertribals where everyone could get out there and dance. And I was like, hey, let's go, come on. And, I dance grass, which is my tribe's traditional dance. And she got out there and she started dancing grass. And, she did really well. She did really good. And then we pranked her. I remember she got a job at Winco. And I don't know if Nicole's here, but Nicole was the one that introduced me to her. But she brought Brittanee along. I remember Nicole was trying to find some meetings to get into. And I told her to come to Friday Night Step Ashore, and she brought Brittanee with her. And that was the first time I met Brittanee. And I remember Brittanee was, we started developing this relationship. She's like, oh, I got a new job at Winco. And, me and Nicole were out hanging out, and, Brittanee's working now. We don't have Brittanee with us. We're like, man, let's go prank her. And so we go to Winco, And I'm like, all right, get a banana, some condoms, and some KY jelly. And so we bought all this stuff. And I remember we're in line and like Nicole has like this bucket hat on and I got like this visor on and she's like, put your braids away. And she's like tying my braids and like tucking it behind my shirt. And so we're in line and Brittany just scans it with no expression at all. Just like, and I'm like, how is she holding it together? And when she realized it was us, she's like, oh my God, you guys can't miss me, And then like the boss I was training her was like, oh, if these are your friends, you can't scan it for them. And we're like, we're not buying it anyways, But it was stuff like that I'm gonna miss. Man. I remember one time she came to my house, and I'm a single dad. And so she sees my house, she's like, oh, this house needs a woman's touch. She's like, there's nothing on the walls, and so I gave her the key to my house, and I come home from work one time and my whole bedroom is rearranged. And she has everything in these cubby things underneath my bed, and she rearranged my closet and got all my shoes organized in my shoe shelf, when I wanted something, I would call her, hey, where's this thing at? And she'd be like, oh, that's in the third cubby underneath your bed, and now if I lose something, I don't have her to call now, I gotta find it. I gotta keep up with that stuff, and with my daughter, she had a suicide attempt last night. And Brittany was there for her. Brittany was like the sister from a different mister, I always looked out for her, and she looked out for my daughter. And I remember my daughter she was failing all her classes last year, and Brittany took her for the weekend, and almost got her grades all the way up, But she was like, hey, I did it to where she could do the rest on her own. I got her so far. She knows what to do. She could do the rest. And she did. She ended up passing, And so, I wanted my daughter to be here too, because, she had so many memories of Brittany just taking her. Being that woman role model for my daughter. So, yeah, this one hurts. I haven't had my heart broken in a long time. But, that's the price of love, is grief. So, yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Tameem. I have one more unidentified spot for a friend, if anyone would like to share anything. Absolutely. You can come on up.
Thank you.
My name is Artemis, and I was Brittany's co-worker at the co-op. And sometimes I was wondering before coming here, am I gonna fit in? I wasn't in the program with them. I wasn't family. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to go and share the same stories. I'm not good at keeping schedules at all, let alone other people's. Most of the time I won't know that a coworker's in until I bump into them, or they come in while I'm in the break room. Brittany's is the only schedule I ever learned, because the only time, I'd be out in the middle of our fancy co-op with these free-range, grass-fed, gluten-free crackers, trying to put them on shelves. And I'd hear one of my friends bawling up at the front registers, just laughing, coming all the way across the store. I'd come over to see what was up, and I'd just see Brittany looking all smug, and one of them just red in the face. You had to be there. It's just that incredible presence they had. How I don't blame anybody choked up or at a loss for words, because how do you pick one when 1,000 work? They were kaleidoscopic. Everybody saw something different, but it was always brilliant. And even now, I just knew them at the tail end of things with their bright red hair that seemed like it was glowing. And I'm looking up here and I'm seeing short blonde hair, the goth phase. I'm seeing a dancing princess. I'm seeing a runner. I'm seeing a sister and a cousin and a friend. And they were incredible. They seemed like they were always the best at what they did, no matter what they were to you, if your sister, cousin, friend, coworker in the program with you. They seemed like they were great at it. If it's any comforts to Jax, they never got to play that game of Magica, but we were able to invite them for a super nerdy tabletop game, pretending to do like the worst movie that never made it in James Bond. They said, I've never played before. It's like, no worries, it's real simple to learn. And they just knocked it out of the park, just taking it completely seriously. All of their lines were the funniest. Everything they did was the coolest. It's like, are you sure you've never picked this up before? I think that's the best way to go and put it, is just, don't worry, they got it. You don't have to worry about never being able to play that card game with them, because they had that experience, and they had fun, and they meant something to people. They may not have laughed at your cashiering joke, but everybody else is cracking up, and I saw that they were able to have that moment for them. And a higher power comes difficulty to myself, but yesterday was the perfect rainy, everything gray, black veils and black umbrellas kind of day for just a thing like this. And now with everybody they touch coming all together to share stories about them, there it goes. I'm seeing y'all in t-shirts and blouses, and I think that's just like them. That would be what would happen if they were here with us. Just brighten everything up. Don't worry about it. I think that there's all something that we never were able to finish with them. Jokes have finished, stories without a happy ending. Just seeing everybody that's here that way. I think we've got 70 different answers, maybe more. All these jokes we'll have to finish ourselves. And these stories we're going to have to put a happy ending on for their sake. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right, well, I guess it's my turn. I did so well holding myself up. Oh my gosh. Wow. All right, Brittany. That was my best friend. My sister, other than Jenny, yes. She was we always said we were soulmates, LVP, but that was my soulmate. We talked about weddings. We talked about kids. We talked about growing old in a nursing home, but little did she know I crossed my fingers saying, girl, I'm not going to no nursing home. No, I am not. When I was in jail March 1st this year, Brittany looked up and down for me. She called everyone. She called Mike. She had a search party. I saw on the screen that I had a visitation, and that was from Brittany. But sadly, you don't get visitation on the weekend. So Brittany was literally there for me. She won't be there for my wedding. I won't be there for hers. I won't dye her hair again. We won't have lazy nights. If you notice, a lot of the pictures were us in bed because that's how we hung out. We were lazy. We chatted every day. We did accountability texts every day. I would ask her, did you eat? Did you shower? Did you clean? You probably did accountability texts with Britt as well, Linnea, yup. She had her own struggles, and we all probably know them. She was very vocal about them, but she never let those struggles and or those people hold her down. She persevered, and she did great. And I know she's smiling right now, saying, you think you get the last word, but that's not it. Because Brittanee is such a strong person, and each and everyone here knows how strong she is, and all of the things that she endured from childhood and to now. So, let Britt's light and love continue to shine on, okay? She's a great woman, and I will continue to advocate for her. And those people suffering with trauma, whether that's childhood trauma or adolescence or whatever it is, I will continue to stand up and advocate for her because she's a great person. And she is loved and cherished. And God knows, that's all I have to say. Thank you. As we come to the end of this memorial, I want to take a moment to thank everyone for being here today. It's been a comfort to share in this space with you all to remember Brittanee and reflect on the impact she had on each of our lives. Brittanee was more than just a friend or a family member. She was a guiding light, someone who knew how to make others feel important and cared for. She was a sister. She was a person who snorted when she laughed. Many of us felt that closeness with her. Her sudden loss has left us with so many unanswered questions, and our hearts are heavy as we try to come to terms with the fact that she's no longer with us. But in the face of this unimaginable grief, we must carry forward her legacy of love, laughter, and compassion. Brittanee's life may have been cut tragically short, but the love she shared will continue to inspire all of us. I encourage each of you to hold on to the memories you have of her and to continue to speak her name and to keep her spirit alive in your hearts. Let her life remind us to love fiercely, to uplift one another, and to never take a moment for granted. Thank you again for being here today. Your presence, your story, and your support mean the world to us. Please take care of yourselves and one another in the days ahead. Thank you, guys. Brittanee loves you. We have refreshments downstairs, so the stairs are to the left. So please help yourself. We have a lot of stuff to eat. Go.
All we ever did was talk about it. We never actually did it. We talked about it. So, sorry.